Well, it's always a great night when we get to hang with Myles Kennedy, but especially when we're celebrating the release of the latest record from Alter Bridge, their self-titled album out tomorrow on January 9th. Myles, thank you so much for joining us, man.
It's my pleasure, Chuck. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. So, listen, it feels like it's been a minute since we've had our hands on a new Alter Bridge album. Pawns and Kings came out in 2022, and you've stayed pretty busy over the years. But how are you feeling on the verge of this new Alter Bridge record being here, ready for the world to get their hands on?
Excited. It's kind of like your little sonic baby is gonna be born into the world. Yeah, and also just having more songs to get to perform live. It's I've been
Yeah.
kind of running through the potential set and getting to integrate some of these newer tunes. So that's exciting because it kind of freshens up the set for us. But yeah, we're happy with how it turned out, and we're certainly looking forward to releasing it into the world.
You've released a lot of albums, man, throughout your career. Does it get sort of easier as far as kind of, whatever that anxiety or just nervousness of it hitting the world? Like, do you kind of get over that now that you're used to it?
Yeah, yeah, and at this point, it's kind of I don't know it's changed a lot. When you're
Yeah.
young and it's your record, and there is anxiety, and you have high hopes, and at this stage, I think we're just so grateful to have developed. We have a fan base, and we put out new music and hope that they like it so that we can continue to do what we do. But you don't feel like you live or die by it quite the way that you used to. Where if the
Yeah.
record came out and flopped, you're done, and then it's back to the salt mines.
Yeah, that's fair, man. But to me, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it does seem like this is a significant album, if for no other reason, it's your first self-titled album as
Yeah.
Alter Bridge. Is there significance into that? I always find it interesting when a band does that well into their career that they've decided like, all right, you know what, this record, for whatever reason, this record's going to be the name of the band.
Right.
Is there significance to why you chose that for this album?
Other than just deep laziness,
I didn't say that.
no, it's lazy. No, but I think that because we were aware that you know that a lot of the sonic hallmarks that we've maintained throughout our career are we've leaned into that on this, and it's like we're not really pushing into any experimental like, oh, we're gonna add some 80s synth here, we're gonna add, we do this with this arrangement here. It's like this is kind of what we've been known for, and so here's an assortment of tracks really kind of defining that at this stage, on album number 8. So aside from laziness, it felt apropos.
Right on, man. That makes sense. But you guys, I mean, and I know you're not saying you weren't, but you do push yourselves too on this. And I think, one of the clearest sort of indications of that is how you close out the album with this massive epic Slave to Master, clocking in over 9 minutes. What was that like recording that song?
Well, it was towards the end. I remember I had probably first 4 minutes that I demoed, and it just needed to go somewhere different, and that's why I was so, the way I like to demo things is like to bring things up to a certain point, and then turn it over. It's like a sonic boomerang. It's like I throw
Yeah.
it out there and see what comes back. So what started as 4 or 5 minutes, then it turned into 9 minutes once we all kind of got in the weeds together. And I love that. I love that process because I feel like that's what makes it a band, as
Yeah.
opposed to just sitting down. Here's a song, it's totally done. There's no fun in that for everybody else. But to me, the real fun of the song is the last half, where the what Mark and I get to play guitar solos over,
Yeah.
which is I think
Yeah.
is our longest guitar duel to date. It's just it's a progression that Mark had, and we both realized that like this is going to be a fun progression to play guitar solos over. And I think initially I was just supposed to do like 8 bars, and we got in the studio, and I said, Elvis, can you do me a favor? Can you fly that part and extend it because I want to play a longer solo as well? And so we did, and that's I'm partially to blame why it's now 9 minutes long because I needed to have my jollies with the guitar.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, so not like a conscious thing, like you guys went in and like, all right, we're gonna close things out with this 9 minute epic.
Right.
It just sort of organically grew into
Yeah.
that.
Totally organic because we were when we were doing pre-production, it was established that we were going to we were going to hit that song, but we didn't know how it was going to end. And Mark had, I remember we were sitting out, kind of having lunch, and he had this thing that he'd recorded, just this rough progression, and we were like, oh, that's cool, and we should integrate that into the song. And glad it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great, powerful way to wrap up the record, man. You said album number 8. What runs through your head when you think about Alter Bridge hitting that? Man, we've released 8 albums as a band.
It's man, I'm grateful. Because I was surprised we got to record number 3,
Yeah.
not for any other reason, just the reality of being in the music industry and your chances of continuing to make music, not to mention the fact that they had all the success. And so I was always very realistic about what that meant, that even though you would hear, oh, it's never going to get back together again, I'd be like, well, we'll see how that plays out. Much to my surprise, 20 plus years later, we've managed to make 8 records together and tour the world a number of times. And it's somehow, we're still chugging along. So it's been a good ride.
I mean, was it that like releasing a third album where you kind of got over that sort of feeling of like, all right, it's these 3 guys from that other band that was pretty big, and then trying to do our own thing. Was it about 3 albums where you kind of like, all right, no, this is like we're actually doing this, and we're carving out our own path, and we're doing our own thing?
Honestly, because of the way I'm hardwired, I remember talking with a friend, and this was like 10 years ago. So I think we were about to embark on the last Hero record. So
Yeah.
that's how long, when I was like, oh, everything could stop. And I was always thinking everything was everything, not just Alter Bridge, Slash. And just for some reason, it's just hard how it's hardwired. And I had this buddy who's like, you do realize at this point, you're probably going to be able to do this for a little while. You're going to be okay, Kennedy. Stop worrying. So I think it was probably about 5 years after the third record when I finally was like, oh yeah, I think we can do this.
Yeah, doing all right, man. And it's just crazy how the world works. That other band, they've had this huge resurgence and everything, and
Right.
kept them busy. But it's great to see that and this, right, Alter Bridge, chugging along, but thriving and celebrating this new album. And man, you're gearing up for a ton of live shows all over the world again this year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're managing like the coexisting, and
Yeah,
I think that that's something I've been lucky in that sense because you have, it's the same thing when Guns N' Roses got back together
yeah.
and managed to continue to do the Slash Conspirators, make those records as well. Yeah, I think we're in a different. It's interesting because I don't know. There's something about. I was actually watching this documentary this morning, or like a YouTube thing on Chino Moreno from Deftones, and just
Yeah.
how many projects he has. And I was thinking about how many of us do that now, or it's just like we all have a number of bands and number of outlets to create. And 30 years ago, it didn't seem like that was as common. And I personally, as a creative person, I love that. I love having the opportunity to stretch out in different ways and try new things. So it's cool that that's becoming more, more of the norm.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, you see that with everything you do, and yeah, your bandmates. It is cool to see. And yeah, you're right. I wonder what that change has been over the last few decades, where that's like it has become a bit more common, right? You see that with artists with big bands that don't like Chino doesn't necessarily have to have other projects, but he does, and
Right.
the fans embrace it, and the industry, the world seems to embrace it too.
Yeah, I think to some degree maybe it's because you would see these art, Maynard was another example who had
Yeah.
a number of Corey Taylor's, and you'd see a number of artists who would be doing multiple things, and I think it just opens up the doors. It's like, well, hey, let's step out into this realm here, and let's take time when we're not touring and try something different. And I think it just works out for me. Speaking creatively, it's helped me a lot. Then when I come back to Alter Bridge, or when I go back to Slash and the Conspirators, where it's like, okay, I've got this off my chest. I've been able to express myself here. Now I'm ready to ride this horse for
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
year. It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I did my guitar solo duel with Tremonti, so now I can go
Right.
work on this other thing.
Exactly.
You had mentioned, being excited to play a lot of these new songs live, and dude, I mean, we love Silent Divide on the show, and a lot of other songs stand out to me too. I mean, I seems like every time I listen through this album, there's a different song that hits me. Like, I love the heaviness of Rue the Day, um, or Disregarded has, I think, kind of a really cool groove to it. I had mentioned a lot of live shows across the world this year, but sounds like you've got plans and intentions to bring a lot of the new music to the stage.
Yeah, that's the goal. I've been, just rehearsing for the last week, even though we don't start for a month. Well, for
Yeah.
me, the longer I do this, the more I realize to be as well rehearsed as you can. So I've been, working on dusting the cobwebs off of the old material that we haven't done in a while, and then the new tunes, getting those under kind of comfortable. It's a lot of work when you have 8 records to pull from
Yeah.
and trying to remember. But yeah, it's fun though because it keeps it fresh. You're not out there just playing the same, you know, 15 songs every night, and
Yeah.
that gets redundant for the artist. It gets redundant for the fans. Yeah,
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, 8 albums. Like, you think about putting together a 15-song set list from 8 albums, like
right.
that in and of itself, just picking those songs, like that's got to be a lot of fun, but also kind of a bit of a burden. Like, man, which
It's
ones do we play?
it's tough, which means it won't be a 15. Is anybody watching this or hearing this? Oh, 15 songs. I should play more of that. Yeah, it'll probably be more than that, unless we do the last song, a couple times, which
Right.
is 9 minutes long. But yeah, it is hard. But I'll tell you what, it's way better than it was when we were touring 20 years ago on the first album. We only had 12 songs, and then we're having to put covers in and
Yeah.
trying to extend things. And I have more time to say stupid stuff on the microphone. It gets me into trouble. So it's nice having so many songs that you just you cram it all in. You don't mess around in between songs. You just get her done, and you
Yeah.
get as much in as you can.
I
Yeah.
love that, man. Well, listen, I got to ask you, and you and I, we chatted about this briefly when you rolled through Kansas City on the Mammoth tour, but we had Charlie Sheen on the show last year, and we spent a lot of time talking to him about just his connection to rock and roll and music and all of this, and he could not say enough about how big of a fan he is of the music that you and Slash have created. And he told us a story about going to Ireland just to see you, and he ended up introducing the band on the stage. You do you remember that moment?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that night very, very well. It's legendary.
It's
He's
wild.
the best, man. I mean, because really the thing I remember more than anything was because it was a beautiful older venue theater, and he was up in like one of the kind of the booths, whatever that you call those.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
like an
he was
opera box type of
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah, and we were playing, but he's up there just so into it and just so passionate about it, and basically the entire floor of the venue, they were all just he was the show. We were just kind of providing the music. Charlie was in it. He was so inspiring, and
yeah,
like it was so great. And then he came and hung out after the show, and what a cool guy. He's
yeah.
just he's a national treasure for sure.
Before that night, I mean, were you aware of quite the fandom he had
No,
for you
no,
guys? No,
I had no clue. To be honest with you, yeah, I was pretty blown away with that.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Have you stayed in touch with Charlie since that show, or
I don't think I've seen him since then.
all right?
Yeah.
Well, we got to
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah. Call me.
That's right. Yeah. Well, listen, obviously the focus right now for you is Alter Bridge, but you did wrap up the year with just great shows with Mammoth, and Return to Dust, and still celebrating your solo album, The Art of Letting Go. And we've mentioned it a few times, Slash and the Conspirators, just like Alter Bridge's Pawns and Kings. It was back in 2022 that you guys released the album For. And I hear rumors floating around, the Reddit and all these different places that you guys have been working on music. Is it safe to say that there might be some new Conspirators music on the horizon?
It is safe to say. Yeah, I recorded my portion and the vocals, I think back in August of 2025 this year. But or last whatever.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited about this record. And I'm not normally the guy who's, I'm always kind of second guessing things. I'm not sure. Wait till the record's, mixed and out in the world, and I need time away. But I think it's pretty solid, and I'm pretty
Awesome.
excited about that one. Yeah.
Any guitar dueling with Slash on this one?
No guitar dueling with Slash. The yeah, no, I don't play guitar. I haven't played guitar on a Conspirators record slash Conspirators since the Apocalyptic Love.
Yeah.
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 And
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Well, what about your solo music, man? Is it hard to keep that in focus as you're doing these other huge things?
Yeah, I mean, now that it's kind of we're kind of done with that album cycle, The Art of Letting Go, and I really had a great time wrapping it up with the Mammoth Camp, and that was a great way to kind of punctuate it. But yeah, for the next 2 years, I'll be immersed in these other projects, and I'll be staying busy. But I'm sure I'll start chipping away and writing, and it's just a question of what that'll be. Whether it'll be kind of more of what the third record turned into, kind of, it definitely evolved from what it was initially with Year of the Tiger, which was
Right.
acoustic
Yeah.
based and everything. So we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of waiting for the universe to let me know where that's going to go. I'm listening. I'm waiting for what it's going to tell me to do. Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, Myles Kennedy, thank you so much for hanging with us tonight, and congrats on this new album from Alter Bridge. Listeners, get caught up on everything, tour dates, get the album, everything you need at alterbridge.com, and we'll always keep you posted too at Loudwire. But Myles, it's a sincere pleasure to have you on the show, and hopefully we can do this again soon, man.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure, Chuck. Thank you.